Welcome back, Officers Republics, your course on Underworld Police Chief, APGAINS. You can't see his beautiful face, but I'm joined by King Stepbro of the Bounty Hunters, Van Seal. We're on an episode of the PPPodcast, Patreon-exclusive podcast that might not be exclusive to Patreon any longer. Van Seal, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing well, minus the COVID, but other than
Yeah,
that, I'm doing fine.
minus the COVID. It's okay. At least you don't have monkeypox or banana salmonella or just, whatever everyone else is dying from these days.
Right,
You had an
exactly.
interesting theory about. We're just gonna fire it in here. A nice little theory you had about the Jabba lifter. You want to just break that down for us? Because I'm not gonna be able to do it justice. I'm just gonna let you crack a lack at it.
Yeah. So CG came out of the post when they announced Ben Solo that they're revisiting the older GLs to give them lifter characters. So that just kind of confirms. It doesn't. Well, we haven't confirmed, but it more or less confirms that SLKR is going to get one, and then
Mm-hmm.
we're going to assume JML is going to get one, and probably C. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's three more characters. Now, if you look at every lifter character in this game, they've all been conquest characters. Whether regardless if you think Maul's a lifter or not, Maul's there. You have Cat.
Who doesn't think
Uh,
Maul is a lifter?
I, I mean,
Like, is there a Lord Vader comp that's better without Maul?
it's just people run Maul with Maul, Mandalorian. So I
Yeah, but
get
you
that
could
he has his own
like
team.
you could get value out of running Cat with Padme and then JMK without Cat for offense to be a GL. It doesn't mean it's the best thing that you could possibly do.
True, true.
All right, keep going. I'm
By the
sorry.
way, and then you have Ben Solo, who's the current character at the moment. Um, So if CG wants to give us more lifter characters, that limits them to 4 characters a year if you do math.
Mm-hmm.
Conquest is three
If you do
three
math.
months per set. Yeah, if you do math. But if I think CG's trying to expedite that process, because obviously spending an entire year just giving us lifter characters may not seem very efficient because maybe some are just way too good versus others, and then
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. Like if we get some too late, they may not be as impactful.
Exactly.
So I think Jabba's lifter character is going to be on that TB node that they mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Because it's gonna
And the
be
reason,
both light
well,
side and dark side, right? For
well they
both
well they
TVs.
said he's going to have a TB node for TB for light side dark side, and I'm like, well, that's weird. What is that going to what is that going to do for us? So if they want to release two lifter characters at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
so like Ben Solo going on with Jabba, it's like you have to release them at the same time with the same unlock cycle.
Yeah.
So Conquest has 110 shards, which you need to get every conquest
Yeah.
to pace yourself and efficiently unlock that character right away. Get you that 330 shards. If they put Jabba Lifter on the Jabba node in TB, you even said in the post that Jabba's gonna have synergy with Scoundrels and Bounty Hunters and Hut Cartel. So the light side will probably just be Scoundrels, and I guess the one light side Hut Cartel we have, which is Skiff Guard Lando.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dark side will be just, bounty hunters and Hut Cartel mainly. But if your guild does 50 out of 50 each time for TB, light side and dark side, that
Yeah.
puts you almost on the same pace as Conquest. It's 100 shards per month versus Conquest is 110 shards. So it's roughly the same unlock frame.
All right. Let me
And
let me jump in here real quick because I
yeah,
think people listening at home, just like all of us, realize the obvious disadvantage to this model over Conquest is that it requires having 50 Jabbas in a guild, which there might be 4 or 5 guilds in the entire world that will have 50 Jabbas at any point for the rest of human history. So what's the advantage? Is the lifter unit gonna be, Jabba's gonna be the most powerful GL? Because that's a little extreme, right? Unless we talk about, of course, it becoming a personalized thing as opposed to a guild thing.
well, that's the question. That really is the question. We don't know what Jabba's kit's gonna do. We don't know if Jabba is getting a lifter. That's still not confirmed, but we assume he's going to get one, and that's just what I assume is going to be on those TB nodes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it really comes down to a question of: Are you going to put yourself in a Jabba guild? Like, you know what I mean? Are you going to merc for TB?
Because that's what we need.
Um,
We need more reasons for guilds to disband.
well, I mean, well, and then the other question raises is like, where TBs are going to be? They haven't said is it going to be in Geo? Um, is it also going to be available on Hoth? Because if it's available on Hoth, I can totally see people just merking for Jabba's lifter unit for 3 months.
Yeah.
Um, TB is not fun. I know like maybe like two people that enjoy TB. It's very boring.
I think that
It's
might be
just
a
it's not.
stretch. I mean, there are people out. I don't want to be like that asshole. There are people out there that that really
I
love
don't.
TB.
I mean, it's a game mode that's been going on for 3 years, and we haven't seen any like
I think
additions
the
to it. So
problem is it's like I talked about this on a video the other day. I think the problem is not. It's just that it's the same thing. I think PvP is inherently not super interesting unless it changes. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like unless it's like constantly being revamped to be better. I don't think that TB is or just PvE in general is fun in the slightest. I think it's
yeah,
like 3 years of light side GOTV is just way too much.
yeah, and like I said, it really is just going to come down to what Jabba can do and what Jabba's lifter can do. I personally don't see Jabba doing the heavy lifting for the team. Just based on lore and based on
Well,
what so far.
CG
Yeah.
doesn't play too much about lore these days, you know.
Um.
Young
But
Han
so
can
far,
kill
but so far,
Malgus.
what the requirements that we have right now, like unless Gamgar gets a rework, like the team is not really shaping up to be a whole lot right now.
Yeah.
Um.
I mean, the only
The
thing that I can think of without having all of the units or even the Jabba kit at all is that he'll just increase mastery a bunch, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe just, Chrysanthemum just doesn't die, and then Deep Lando hits super fucking hard, and then whatever,
Yeah.
Bib Fortune or someone like that's the only thing that I
Sk-
can see lore wise that would make sense. But that he could just have a Salacious B Chrome attack that does instant damage, 100% health damage 5 times in a row. We have no idea.
Yeah, we have no idea. I think Bib Fortuna is the next marquee for sure.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be the lifter, but a lot of people were saying that he's not
Or
cool
yeah, he
enough to
could
be a
be.
lifter.
I don't know. I mean, he could be. It really we just have to wait and see. But I mean, the
Yeah,
other thing too to consider this Jabba node. So that's like the only thing that's like confirmed this whole discussion is like we are getting a Jabba node.
yeah,
Um, I really hope, and I hope for like a lot of the lower mid tier guilds that CG does not put this on like the final day, because I know a lot of people in light side Geo that still don't, they just can't make it, or they don't
yeah.
make it because they do the strategy of like losing a day that way they get more stars efficiently. It's like
That's what my guild does.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was in a guild that did that for over a year, and it's like you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, wherever this Jabba node goes, I don't know. Like I said, it really is going to come down to what's behind that node and if it's his lifter or not, and that might actually make people leave for TB.
Now, how about this instead? What if instead of being like a guild related node like Watt or Cam, what if it's a personal node? Like you have Jabba, each of the 4 phases of the TB, you can get 10 shards if you have Jabba and these requirements at this relic level. You know what I'm saying? You can do it, and then you get 40 shards a TB. You can do 2 TBs a month, or however many they let you do. I don't even know, honestly. And then
I
you can
mean,
farm up your lifter that way.
unless you're getting 50 shards per TB, 50 to 60, I don't think it's worth it.
I don't think it's worth it either. I mean, I don't think it's worth it to
Because
farm
like I said,
Jabba just to get a Jabba lifter.
even if you get 50 or 60 shards per TB, it's still going to take you 3 months to unlock that character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to take you 3 months to unlock them if they're in Conquest, right?
So, well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying on TB. I just don't see them giving you a personal node saying here's 50 shards, because once you get that done, that's a lot of shard shop currency. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot right there.
Yeah, but you also
Unless
probably spent thousands of dollars to get fucking Jabba. Like
I don't know about thousands, but
they're I mean, the marquee characters themselves, even if they're in shipments, are pretty expensive, right? And a lot of people aren't buying them out of shipments for whatever reason. I'm just saying
yeah,
it's quite an investment. Like what they're doing with the Inquisitors is at this point they're just doing so many goddamn Inquisitor nodes
I
that
love
you're gonna
Inquisitors so much.
eventually like get a lot of your resources back just by the fact that they're there over and over. That's kind of what they did with BAM when BAM first came out. I don't know if it's gonna always be like that. Like BAM eventually is
A
no
little
longer
bit when
required.
it first came out, it was a little bit like that.
Yeah,
Not as
I mean
not
that's
as
why
much as the Inquisitor. I feel like the Inquisitor one.
is way
I feel like
worse.
they flipped the switch at the beginning of the year, and then like CG's just like they either fired that person that was supposed to turn it off, or like
Yeah,
they just completely forgot that they left it on.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, well, they fired the guy who was supposed to flip the switch. The intern who was
Yeah.
there, whose sole job in life was just to make sure that
They're
the
like, hey,
Inquisitor.
make sure after 3 months you turn this off, and
Yeah,
that guy's probably gone.
yeah, probably. Dude, my Relic 3 Wampa is getting absolutely dunked on right now. I'm kind of a sad boy.
Well, Relic 3.
Yeah. Everyone's like, just Wampa solo Sith Eternal Emperor. I'm like, my Wampa is poorly modded R3. I got it down to a C solo, so I can, like, I don't know, I can kill him with something, but
Dude, C's pretty nasty right now.
yeah, the C Datacrons are pretty solid. I got into an argument
It,
with someone about, they're like, so many people are just hell-bent on the fact that the 20% alt is the best one. Like, people die on that hill. I'm like, dude, the 6% one's pretty solid, too. Like, it's nothing to sniff at.
Depends on how your C's modded. I think if your C's modded to the teeth, you can get away with the 20%.
Yeah.
But that 6%, it's
Peop
nice because it's faster. You have
yeah.
to remember he ramps his mastery before he goes into his ults. It's like if you go into your ult with a little bit more mastery, you're gonna have a little bit more oomph behind your
Yeah.
spaghetti.
Now, C can't pop alt when you're fighting a solo, right?
Correct, because you can't link. Well, actually,
Okay.
that's false. That's false.
He does it in
You
20
can.
turns, right?
Right. It's like 2% per turn, so it will take a hot minute.
Okay, because I'm just, at this point, I'm just Wampa soloing a C, but, like, my Wampa does no damage, but he has a little bit of health steal, and C's taking about 5 turns per one of my Wampa turns,
Oof.
so it's just getting a little dicey.
So yeah, so it's anytime your Wampa has deceived and uses an ability, you're giving him 2%. So basically, 10 turns and
So
spaghetti
pretty,
time.
any second now, basically.
Yes.
All right, well that'll be fun. I'll throw that up on stream. It's a nice little GAC. I mean, my opponent's only I think 3 million GP more than me, and he's only got like an extra 2 GLs to my 2. So
Yep.
this is the closest matchup I've had in a while. So I'm actually kind of enjoying it. I'm just trying to bounce around a couple of wacky counters, see if they work. But yeah, so is there anything else about this nice little Jabba theory that you think could you know support it in its validity, or do you think that this is just like a
Other
wild?
other other than that C we're talking about C. Other than that CG said they're trying to give more lifter tunes
Mm-hmm.
to the older GLs. I don't see why Jabba wouldn't get a lifter himself. And like I said, I just think that if they tried to give it every GL lifter, we're looking at about a year.
Yeah, I
You know.
think. I mean, I
So
really
if
think
they
that
want to
we're going.
speed that up, you have to have one released somewhere
Mm-hmm.
else
Yeah.
with roughly the same time frame. And and personally, like when I'm looking at Jabba's Rex, like I don't know about you, but his Rex are very, very light compared
They're
to what
at
we were
yeah, dude.
thinking.
I was
Very
expecting like
light.
2 R9s out the gate. I mean, they could still get us in the second one. I'm about to time
They
out with this
could,
Wampa.
but we already know the next one's gonna have one marquee at R5.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. Um, but it's like when you look at these characters, a lot of these characters are older characters, like
Yeah.
really old characters, so they have no cryos until you relic them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing
Um,
with like Mob Enforcers. Mob Enforcer's gear is so light that I don't think Mob Enforcer is going to be a requirement because there's
and
like Kairos didn't exist when Mob Enforcer was out.
well, yeah, like all these characters, there's no kairos on any of them. The only characters that have kairos during their gear process, not their finisher piece, is the marquees.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
mean,
I
like I guess
timed
for like
out.
brand new players, I guess Jedi Knight Luke is a bit of a gate. But I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people have Jedi Knight Luke, and R7 Jedi Knight Luke, like really, like I thought for sure he was gonna be an R8 or R9. Like I had a feel like he was gonna be required, but I was like, really R7? I'm like, all right.
Just to update my Relic 3 Wampa with no damage timed out.
Well, at least he didn't die.
Yeah, dude, he had a Datacron that was like just 50% health steal, so he could never die. Like he never died, and he just couldn't ramp. I should have just autoed the whole thing, but I played it manually, and it was just too slow. If I had like maybe an extra 30 seconds, I probably could have got it. But yeah,
Yeah,
like
to,
if
to, to, to like just to prove the theory, like if Jabba's Rex are so like easy, I
hmm
think like the real struggle is gonna be the TB node with
yeah,
the lifter character.
hmm
Um, I don't know. It just seems like the wrecks are too easy. They're too easy right now, especially for 2022 being in this game.
Yeah,
Um,
it does feel like that.
yeah, like I thought I'd never seen either R3 or R4 or R5 for a Galactic Legend after Lord Vader,
Yeah.
and we have multiple R3s for Jabba, and it's kind of surprising.
I mean, if they are going to add lifters to every Galactic Legend, and they said they wanted to, right? So that's not like we're not like breaking the matrix right now with this as like a wild and wacky prediction. It was literally written word for word in their um what do you call it, in their road ahead or whatever
Well, they
the fuck
said
they did
word for
in their
word, they said
interview.
they wanted to give lifters to the older ones.
Yeah. And
They
we
never said
have
Zip was getting
Ray.
one,
I
so
imagine. I
yeah,
mean, they made so much of a point about the dyad in the Force that I
right.
find it hard to believe that we're not going to get one for Kylo, right? And I think Ray makes the most sense. Everyone's saying Snoke or whatever, but if Ray gets a Kylo, Kylo's going to get a Ray. That's how
What?
I see it. But that could just be totally wrong. I could just be a wild and wacky gamer with no basis in reality, but that's what I think. I think it makes the
Okay.
most sense to if
Dark
especially
side
if
Ray?
I mean Lightside Kylo wasn't in the show all that much. So it's not like a huge leap, you know. It could just be Rey Palpatine, right? You get a Rey Palpatine, it's an unaligned Force user that works with the dark side requirements because SLKR is not first order only. He's just dark
Ooh,
side.
a Ray shoots lightning. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, maybe he had. I don't know. I don't know what his synergy is going to be or her synergy. I just with how they worded the post, it just seemed like that's what they were trying to say. It just seemed like they
Yeah.
were trying to say that you know there's the dyad in the Force. The bullshit the movies were trying to push super hard that they're connected, and I think it makes sense. We're gonna get a light side unaligned Force user, Kylo. We'll get a dark side unaligned Force user, Rey. I think that makes sense. That's what I was saying in chat. A lot of people said I'm an idiot. It's gonna be Snoke because Galaxy of Heroes
Well,
people are
The
Snoke
only
and
thing
Jar
that's
Jar
weird about
confirmed.
Snoke is why would you have two people titled Supreme Leader on the same team?
That's what I'm saying. Is you can't be Supreme Leader Snoke. Like if they add a Snoke or whatever. I mean,
Assistant to the Supreme Leader.
yeah, yeah. Or I mean, dude, they could just add Supreme Leader Kylo Ren unmasked. You could have Kylo Ren, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren unmasked. Then you could have Kylo
Shirtless
Ren,
Ben.
and then Kylo Ren unmasked. You have 4 Kylos on the same team, and then maybe light side unaligned Force user Ben Swolo with a datacron that converts all characters to dark side. So now he's
Yeah.
evil unaligned, dark side, light side, unaligned, dark side, light side, Force user Kylo, and you got 5 Kylos. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
And that's how
There's
babies are made.
that is how babies are made. All right, you want to move on to our next topic? It's a little bit of
Yes.
a hot take one that people are going to enjoy at home. These are
Oh, we're gonna
all
talk about how Malgus is bad again?
no. These are all for the rest of the show. It's all fan submitted questions that I thought were interesting. A little bit of a hot take from a viewer, but he wants us to try and argue, even if we don't believe it to be true in our hearts of hearts. He wants us to try and argue that Supreme Leader or Sith Eternal Emperor is the best galactic legend. Now, I have not done any preparation for this. I honestly don't know how I would possibly argue this to be the case. But let's give it a try. You want to go first since you're the guest, and also because I have absolutely no worldly idea how I would
The
possibly
best-
argue this.
God, I gotta turn on my Saul Goodman here to argue this one.
Dude,
Um,
I'm almost done with
the
season
best
6.
GL,
I'm excited.
dude, it's pretty great. It's pretty good. The best GL. Oof, that's rough. He's not the worst.
So
He's
that's
not
a step.
The worst.
He's not the worst.
Yeah, he's not the worst.
Who's he better
in my
than?
opinion.
Who's he better than?
Uh,
I think he's the worst.
It's so here's the thing. It really depends on how we're talking. Because defense and offense really plays a key here.
I
Because
consider
I think-
both of them to be valid, defense and offense. I combine them into overall usefulness.
Okay, so offensively, I think he is right now pretty close to being the best because he can take down JMK.
Okay,
with
no
the
datacrons
80%
because
data. With the,
datacrons
no
are in and out.
datacrons. Okay.
Datacrons are in and out.
Damn
Like
it.
it could be gone in 2 months, and then they could never bring
Well,
back
I
an
mean,
OP.
technically, you still could take down JMK without datacron. You just need a really good team and some RNG on your side. So you
Okay, it
have
is
the chance to
possible.
take down. It's possible,
It is
but you need like
technically possible to beat all GLs with all
yes,
GLs if you're really, really lucky.
yes. Um, his Rex aren't that bad. His Rex are pretty good in my opinion. I think he's still the fastest GL to get,
He is the
right?
fastest GL, but his Rex aren't super useful. Is a little bit of an issue.
Mm, some of them are. I mean, you got Piet in there. You have Darth Vader. Um,
Let
I
me pull
think
it
you
up.
have Veers. Yeah, let me look at his Rex. I think you essentially get the Imperial Trooper squad running, right?
You get two of
Royal
them.
Guard.
Or
So you
three
got
of them with
EP,
Piet.
Royal Guard,
Stark
Darth
Veers to
Vader,
3, Tarkin to
Piet.
3, Thrawn to 6, Anakin to 7. The Bomber. And then the Marauder, Dooku, Maul, Sidious are not super useful. Krennic also. I know you love Krennic, but he's not
I
super
love
useful.
Krennic.
Royal Guard, not super useful. I mean,
Royal
here's the
Guard
thing.
is an amazing tank. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, for you. But for someone who's thinking about farming Sith Eternal Emperor, not really.
Put him under EP. You have an EP and Darth Vader here. There's
I
your
mean,
tank on the team.
if you have a Relic 7 EP, a Relic 7 Darth Vader, and a Relic 6 Thrawn, you're not going to need to put a Royal Guard in there. So this is,
but yeah.
as far as the Rex are concerned, I always think of the Rex as like, how long are they going to take? He's the fastest. I'll give him big kudos there.
Yep.
But like, what can you build? Like, you have a solid Imperial Trooper team and then an Empire team that you could do basically the same amount of work with without any of the relics except for Vader. So basically, you just are forced to relic your Imperial Troopers.
C's Rex are kind of like I don't look at C's Rex like it's not like Lord Vader. We get an entire Bad Batch team out of it. You know what I mean? It's like you're good to go. Like I feel like C's Rex kind of give you a nice jump start to two separate different teams, and then you can just build upon it. You can build upon it, or you can tinker with it how you want. If you want to drop Stark and put in other characters, or you just want to go for Iden, I guess you can do that. Sidious and Maul do kind of suck quite a bit. Dooku isn't bad because you do have that Dooku mission in TB, and I feel like once you get a relic Dooku,
Dude,
like,
I just 4 out of 4 it.
mission.
I 4 out of 4 it today with a Gear 10.
Yeah, once you get a relic one, you can just auto it. It's just like you just don't think about it.
I mean,
Sith Marauder, that's not bad. I mean, Sith
Yeah,
Empire is pretty hot right now.
yeah, but Marauder doesn't really fill into Malgus that much. All right, so here's the point I'm trying to get is like I think he's fine for a third Galactic Legend because I think his offensive firepower is not something that you want to ignore. But we're supposed to argue that he's the best Galactic Legend. I feel like we're working backwards here. Keep going. I'll stop distracting. I'll take everything.
I'm struggling. I'm
insane
struggling to,
cognitive dissonance.
I'm struggling to find that he is the best.
That's why it's a fan hot take. I mean, you're not gonna like the second fan hot take. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot harder for you to. All right, so let's just call that a failure. We failed to prove that C is the best Galactic Legend. Let's at least do this. How about this? Give me your best argument that he's not the worst. Who is objectively worse in terms of total value than C?
With or without Datacrons?
Without Datacrons, because they're probably going to be kind of like Mod 2.0, where they're going to get pushed down a little bit. You never know when they're going to be there. Like I don't want to recommend someone spend a year of their life farming something that might not be nearly as good in a year than it is right now.
So I would say, who's worst than C?
And you can talk total value. You can talk about the farms.
And yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is the total value is Lord Vader, and it's not because Lord Vader is bad. Lord Vader can't kill anything. Lord Vader can kill just about everything.
He can kill everything.
Defensively,
yeah.
Lord Vader is amazing, but the value, the amount of relics you put into Lord Vader versus the amount of relics you put into C. If you started two players at the same rate with the same amount of gear and everything, the person going for C will have the C and the ultimate before Lord Vader's even done. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, but how much is that? What's that difference? Like,
so the difference is you having.
Like, no, but time wise. What's the difference?
Time wise. Oh, I mean, I don't know if at a ballpark. I don't think it's twice as long, but I mean, like because Lord Vader has R8s. And, there's
Yeah.
still people that still don't have a whole lot of R8s. Don't have access to R8s, and it's like Lord Vader's forcing you to give up your passion projects. He's forcing you to give up your whatever team you're working on right now for your guild to do R8 on like 4 characters. And I don't care who you are. If you're a whale, that's fine. But for me, if I'm in a top like TW guild, I'm like, I'm farming CPIT, I'm not merking or whatever. It takes you 2 weeks minimum to do an R8, at least, and you have to do 4 of those things.
Yeah.
And that's if I'm like buying them out of the weekly shipments and just going gung ho and just trying to speed it up. It takes you 2 weeks to do an
It is
R8.
rough. Yeah. I mean, I only
So
have one R8 that isn't a requirement. I think I have 5 total. I have the 2 requirements for JMK, the 2 requirements for Executor, and then Jedi Knight Luke I took to R8 because someone paid me to do it. Did my opponent not place
that's a
Executor
good
on
one.
defense?
That's a good one to go to R8 though.
Oh my goodness, my opponent didn't place Executor on defense.
It's been happening a lot lately.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, I get that it's because of the finalizer, but I don't know. It just seems he's so much more ship and character GP than me that it just seems like not the optimal play. But I could drop this JMK JML this JML versus JMK battle. So who knows?
Yep.
I'll keep you apprised of the situation.
So what's the next hot take?
Next hot take is harder than trying to prove that C is the best Galactic Legend. It's Kenobi is the worst Galactic Legend.
Oh my god.
And while we talk about this, I will be fighting a Kenobi Cat Gas on defense with a JML. So,
All right.
So you went first to the last one. I'll try to go first for this one just to make it a little bit more fair. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to need it. Kenobi worst Galactic Legend. All right, let's start here. Let's start with what he's bad at. I don't know if he's bad at anything, but he has 2 R8 requirements. So it's not the fastest farm in the world, as he is currently destroying my JML team. And by the way, he has no Datacron, and I have the max JML Datacron. I have the what do you call it? I have the riposte and the assist and the 25% term here doesn't really matter because it's a JMK team, but I'm still not doing so hot. This is definitely harder than arguing.
I actually think this one's easier.
All right, go for it. All right, go for it. I got nothing. I don't know how in God's name I would say he's worse.
All right, he's the worst GL because not because of his Rex. His Rex are fine. His Rex are I think they're actually easy in my opinion. But anyways,
I think his Rex are actually really good. Sidebar. I'm sorry for cutting you off. Most of his requirements are I just AoE'd against everyone with riposte. That's stupid. His requirements are mostly Galactic Republic, and Galactic Republic is like the one faction where even if the characters suck, they're still good because there's so many good Galactic Republic leaders, and especially now in the world of Datacrons, where you kind of a lot of your characters on these big teams just need to be Relic 3 so that you can use a fucking Datacron. Like my big problem right now is my really good teams that would really benefit from Datacrons don't have enough Relic characters on them to use the Datacron, so I'm getting fucked. So I think his requirements are actually fucking fantastic because even though the characters are not the best, they're in the best faction in the game. I think the Galactic Republic is the most useful faction in the game, and I think that helps out a lot. Go for it. Tell me why he's the worst.
So he's the worst because he needs another character holding his hand to be good the whole time. If you take Cat out of the situation, he gets beat by not only every GL beats him. He gets beat by Bad Batch.
Okay.
Gas can auto him, like completely auto him. I even think my bounty hunters never been in a situation where there's a JMK without Cat, but I'm pretty sure even there's a situation where my bounty hunters might be able to beat him.
Okay, but that's on defense. On offense, You can destroy
On
everything with him, even without Cat.
offense,
I mean, I've beaten
on
C's,
offense,
SOKRs, Rays.
okay, on offense without Cat, it it's not as easy. You struggle a little bit
Yeah.
because you don't have that 40% boost into your stats from Cat, and that 40% boost is kind of a big deal. But yeah, JMK without Cat, worst GL. And that's why I think JMK, yeah, that's my argument for JMK being the worst GL. He needs Cat on the team, otherwise he's pretty much just like I don't know, he's not doing a whole lot.
I mean, he can still beat C, SOKR.
I've lost to C with JMK without Cat before.
Well, that's your
Like
problem.
it's very wishy washy without Cat. Like that stat boost, you'd be
The
surprised how
stat boot
much
is
you rely on
nice.
it. You rely on that a lot.
Okay. So our best argument right now as to why he's the worst is because he is very character dependent. He's very
Yeah.
I have a friend dependent.
Yep. And
Okay.
there's not a single GL that's like that in the game.
Okay, that's a
Every
good argument.
GL's fine. Every GL's fine. Ben Solo, yeah, he's gonna help Ray, but guess what? Ray's still Ray without Ben Solo. Ray's Ray no matter what you put her with. Like
Mm.
Ray's probably the most independent GL out of all of them.
I agree. I think Ray does the most GL stuff of all the GLs. Like originally they were supposed to just be really good characters with any, kind of faction, like light side or dark side. And I think she is the epitome of the Galactic Legend. She takes whatever light side team that you want to muster and she makes them good. Obviously,
Yep.
she's better with her resistance characters, but a lot of people don't use them. A lot of people use L3. A lot of people use a bunch of random shit. Han Solo, Chewbacca. Like you can do some wild and wacky things and be totally fine.
Yeah.
All right. C's the best Galactic Legend. JMK is the worst. Now another fan topic. A little bit of a retrospect here, so it should be fun. The Grand Admiral of the Video Game Division here at the Galactic Empire, home of the Kyber Club Open 25-8, blah, 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 right?
Arnold, yes.
Yeah. Someone wanted to know, a newer player, why he's so much bigger in terms of total subscribers than everyone else. What is he doing? Now, of course, the production value, it's easy to forget, hasn't always been this amazing. But what's his secret? You've been around a lot longer than I have.
Calling me old.
I mean, you played the game a lot longer than I have.
Yes.
What set him apart?
I watched him from when he first started.
Mm-hmm.
He just had okay, so the one thing I think as a content creator, it's hard to develop a style that you can let your audience, or not even people your audience, but like someone, if they see a thumbnail or they watch a part of a video, they can identify that's that person's video because it's their style, it's the way they do it.
Mm-hmm.
He had a really good style early on. Doesn't do these videos anymore, but he used to make these really long videos about character releases that he would compare their stats. He would say, "Oh, their speed falls into this category," and like he would say, "This person is the 10th fastest character," or "This person coming out is going to be the 50th." Anyways, he made a lot of good videos early on, and I think at the time there wasn't a whole lot of big content creators for the game. Like everyone was kind of like mediocre or okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he just developed a really how do I want to say it? Like a really concrete style
Identity.
that was just like not really identity because he wasn't like we didn't watch the videos for him. It was just like when I watched his videos, he was just some guy. He was just some guy that had good videos. Like I really didn't give a
Mm-hmm.
shit who he was. He never had a personality back then. It's just his videos were really concrete. They were structured, and he was consistent. And I think consistency is like a really important thing. And he's always been there for the community.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, the production value went up, and then he created this persona of like the anti-CG guy, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably the easiest persona to do because there's a lot of people that hate CG and there's a lot of people that just don't like the game, but they continue to play it and spend money on the game, which is a whole other discussion. I still can't wrap my head around that. But yeah, he basically decided to be the poster boy for this group slash mob, I guess, and You like my wording. Um,
Are you saying Mob Enforcer is confirmed as a GL requirement for Java?
yeah, exactly. That's
Is it
exactly what I was saying. Yeah.
is the kit reveal happening right now live on the PP podcast? Kit reveal with Fancy.
No, but like, it's just like he got it early and had a good foundation and just he stuck with it. Um,
So what about
and
the
then
other
yeah, like
people who were out around at the same time as him? Because there's a lot of guys who were bigger than him right off the get. I wasn't there,
a lot
but
of
from
them,
what
a
I
lot of them aren't even a lot of them aren't even around anymore. Like that's the funniest part. A lot of the from what I remember, the people that I used to watch about this game
mm-hmm.
aren't even around. They don't play the game anymore.
What can you give us some names, just if there's any older players listening?
So the first guy I used to watch was Tiny Grimes. Um, I honestly thought that was Mobile Gamer for the longest time because it looked identical. But that wasn't Mobile Gamer. Mobile Gamer, the other one,
Yeah,
he was probably the leading guy in this game before
yeah.
Arnold took over. But Mobile Gamer, I don't need to go into that whole rabbit hole. You can go into Reddit if you want to see what happens. Um, Mobile Gamer had some stuff go on, and he left the game. He left the
Mm-hmm.
game, just played other stuff. There's a couple other people I don't want to mention just because they did some really offensive things, and I don't want to like
Okay, fair
bring
enough.
people to that light. And those people aren't playing the game anymore either. Um, you got McMole too.
Yeah.
McMole too. Doesn't play the game anymore. Lord Skunk. I mean, if you've been around since the beginning, Lord Skunk, total scumbag, by the way. Him I will mention because he's a complete scumbag. He pretty much took money from people to buy a boat, from what I
What?
remember. Instead
What?
of like, he said he was going to use it for like donations and stuff like that, and he was going to use it like for like a charity or something. I guess he bought a boat.
He
Um,
took charity money to buy a boat. Oh my, that's the most Star Wars Galaxy of
from what I
Heroes content
remember,
creator of all time.
yeah, it was something like that. Like he would just like,
That's fucking hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious that people gave him money for charity and he bought a boat, but it's hilarious that that is something that someone has done somewhere,
yeah,
conceptually, of course.
yeah. And from what I recall, that's how it went down. Reality skewed gamers used to be pretty big back in the day. I
Uh
feel
huh.
like once they lost some of their like key members, like Grundy, Infinity, they kind of just have fallen off a little bit in terms of like it's like when you're watching your favorite TV show and then
Mm-hmm.
like they just start killing off people left and right. It's like, oh, now we're just stuck with a couple guys. I'll still watch it, but it's not the same as it used to be.
Yeah.
Not saying that they're bad or anything. It's just like people move on. My
Yeah.
point is Arnold has been here pretty much from the start, and his production value has increased while everyone has kind of just quit, sort of more or less.
Yeah.
Um, so and then you have people like Zareth. Zareth is probably up there, the top 5 subscribers.
Zera's been there. He's been there for a while. I don't know exactly when he started,
Well, he
but
didn't. He's not a day one player.
but is he a
He
is
got
he a
it.
day one creator? I don't know the origin story
No,
of
no,
his
no, no,
YouTube
no.
channel.
Him and Solo Base, I believe they started playing when this game was about 2 to 3 years old already.
Okay. Oh, so
So
you're
they
saying he's not a day one player?
no, they are
Okay.
not. Him and Solo Base are not day one players. They are not.
Okay.
No. Um, so they kind of got their way into it and they caught up with the rest of the community. Trying to think. Yeah, I can't really think of any other content creators that have been around. I mean, Skeletrix has been around for a while too. And he put some really good stuff out. It's just, not having a face to the name, kind
Yeah,
of
I
feel like
definitely noticed that
really
putting my
hurts.
face on
Like,
my videos helped quite a bit.
yeah, like not having a personality. Like his videos are helpful. They're great tutorials, but like,
Hmm.
there's no personality behind it.
Yeah.
So it's hard for some people to like connect with or like
Hmm.
be able to just say I like this guy because he likes the same things I like. It's whatever. Make a connection.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely when I talk to newer, I don't make myself sound like I'm cooler than I am, but when I talk to smaller and newer creators, I always say like it is not lost on people that you try and be entertaining, right? It's not the worst thing in the world to try and sacrifice some dreams for some memes. It's worked for some people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
totally. I mean,
I like that
I mean,
sneaky little unmute you got there. That's
Oh
cute.
yeah, I have that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Talking
my
shit
brother
about
turned the
me behind my back, you bastard.
no, someone turned the shower on. I'll just make sure you're not picking that up.
That's okay.
Um, but yeah, no, I think yeah, just being entertaining is it's hard to find the balance of like being an entertainer and providing like good quality content at the same time. I mean, I'm not talking about quality as like production value. I'm talking about quality as like, hey, you're coming up with a counter that no one else is coming up with, and it's saving my ass in GAC kind of a thing. You know,
Okay,
like
but hear me out. I think content creation as just creating counters, as far as being successful, right? If your goal as a content creator is to be a successful content creator, it's kind of not really an avenue that is very successful anymore. Unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't think that
I
it's. I think it's kind of fallen
agree.
off. Especially we were talking about off stream or off video about datacrons. Like theory crafting is kind of
Dead.
non-existent because there is no consistency across the game. Like if
Yep.
like if I see someone beating a Lord Vader with a fucking Jar Jar Binks, right? Like there's no way that I can recreate that battle. There's no way we'll have the same datacrons, the same mods, the same, everything.
So
It
that's. I mean, I don't want to jump for your hot take. So have we answered the hot take why Arnold is so big?
oh, I don't know if it was a hot take. That was just a fan question from a newer.
Well, fan question.
That was just some guy who legitimately didn't know. He had no
No.
idea. He's like, why is this guy just like so gargantuan compared to everyone else? And I think we've
I'm,
settled on
I'm I,
the
yeah,
LeBron
that
James, Tom
it's
Brady kind of thing. Like he's been around a while.
it's yeah, that and I'm sure he eats everything with whey protein, so that's why he's also so big. So
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a mass
yeah,
monster. Those big Polish
yes,
legs.
100%, 100%. No, going back to theory crafting, that's actually something that kind of like dawned on me the other day, and it kind of made me really sad.
Yeah.
Um, so last week I put out a video of bounty hunters killing Malgus. I was super stoked because I've been doing my homework for like 3 months on this fight,
Mm-hmm.
and I got it down my first try. Got full banners. I didn't think I was gonna get full banners. I got full banners against bounty hunters using Malgus,
Mm-hmm.
against Malgus, and I was like thinking, cool, I got it done the first fight of GAC. That gives people plenty of time to figure out how to like, they can work towards this counter. And I'm like thinking a new Datacron set just got released. Malgus's Datacron's gonna be around till the next 5v5, and so that gives people, roughly 2-3 months to come up to get this counter down. I'm like, I felt really good about myself, and the video is pretty well received. And then it occurred to me that although my opponent was using a Malgus Datacron, I was using a Datacron from set 2, which
Mm-hmm.
means this counter is dead at the
In
end of next week.
yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my god, like it's so
And
hard
also
to
a lot
theory
of people
craft.
don't have your bounty hunters.
That's yeah, but like, but that's fine. That's a problem. I actually don't mind because that means you have plenty of time to get my bounty hunters, or you get to my level. It's like no, this counter's dead next week.
Yeah.
Like this counter is literally dead next week. And I'm just like I feel so bad and just like what do I do? Like because I mean the only time you can really come up with a counter now is if your team is not using a Datacron.
Yeah.
And that is a big, big ask. Like, I mean, you have to come up with something crazy, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can think of right now is like the Triumvirate beats Inquisitors,
Well, they don't
because
beat Night Sisters, apparently. I'm just getting fucking stuck behind Zombie.
what?
I'm taking my like shitty Triumvirate versus some shitty Night Sisters, and I just got stuck behind Zombie because I didn't bring any
Oh,
AoEs. It's super fucking annoying. So I'm gonna try to annihilate Zombie with 1 second left. Oh, she
gotcha.
fucking comes back. That's so stupid. I tried to game the system, but keep going.
But yeah, so it's like theory crafting is it's very hard right now because like I feel like no matter what you do, it's you're not gonna help anybody in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, all I'm kind of showing, like, and that's the other thing too, is like, if I did want, let's say I did want to, let's say the Datacron I used on my bounty hunters was from set 3, and that means that people have until the next 5v5, which is two months from now,
Hmm.
to get this counter down. That gives people more time. I think that's more of a realistic response. But as a content creator and a theory crafter, it is on me to get this counter down as quickly as possible. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like to get that video uploaded, because now, we're on a 2-season deadline here, and it's like I don't have time to like mess up. I don't have time to like tinker around. Like I have to get this counter down day one, first attempt, first shot, and that puts a lot of pressure on the content creator. And even when you do complete it, you still get backlash from people saying like, "Oh, this and that and this and that." I'm just like, "All right, well, I'm trying to help you out here, and I'm trying to hit a home run at the bottom of the ninth with bases loaded, 2 outs." It's like,
So
I
try
don't know what
this
to
as
say.
an angle for kind of what I've been talking about. I don't think people anymore. I think we're at a point in the game where there aren't enough players who are at that point in the game to care about theory crafting in general. I don't think that there's
I agree.
enough. I don't think that there's enough players who've been playing long enough to really have theory crafting affect them in the slightest. Because for a lot of players, it's nice knowing that this team will beat that team. But if you don't have that team and your opponent doesn't have the other team, like it doesn't really. There's not a whole heck of a lot you can do with that information if they even find that information interesting, right? Like they could just not care.
Yeah.
Which is always a possibility. So I think it's really sad that not only theory crafting as a game concept is kind of done. Like Fatal just put out like I don't know what he called it, like a meta. I don't even know what he called it, but he put out a video the other day where he's like got a new website that will show you like what's going to be the defensive theory crafting meta. And I was sitting there thinking like, this is an awesome resource. I wish this was out like 4 years ago when there was still theory crafting in the game. Because now,
Datacrons have really kind of.
I mean, maybe
just
they'll get to a
kinda-
point where it's like mods, where like Datacrons will be so tuned down that like they won't affect counters too much. You know what I mean? Like,
I hope they will. I hope they will, because I've been talking to other content creators about this, and set 3 is like our favorite set so far. Because if you look at set 3, the stats are so minimal.
yeah,
The stats are so minimal compared to set 1 and set 2. So me personally, I can't wait for set 1 and set 2 to get phased out, because I think set 3 is fine. Like it's nothing. There's nothing crazy with set 3. Like
except for the fact that most of the characters are characters no one has. Like, who has fucking Initiate? Who has Relic Night Sisters?
But yeah, and I like how you say nobody, because really nobody. Like even people at like my level, like people do not have those characters.
Like, I think only Pimpo, or someone that Pimpo knew, is the only person who put out any footage. And then every single person and their mom put out a video about like how.
And that's what I want going forward for Datacrons. Like I honestly, like obviously when the Bounty Hunter one comes around, like I'm covered on all bases. But like, I want that. I want that in Datacrons. I don't want to see another Datacron set that's gonna be like, oh, like 80% of the player base is gonna be able to do everything. It's like, that sounds overpowered as hell. Like if you have if there's a new Datacron set that comes out and you only have like one of the level 9 characters at Relic 7, like there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Because the thing is, everyone was so focused on like just a singular set. It's like you have 2 more sets to bank off of. So I liked set 3. I think set 3 is my favorite, just because it's not all over the place. Yeah, it's not all over. I mean, there's some things that are overpowered in it, but I mean, like it's like you need a Night Sister Init shit to like solo the world. It's like, good luck. If you have a Night Sister Initiate,
God bless you.
Yeah, exactly. Go for it. I'm really looking forward to seeing the Jawa one and the Ewok one and the Tusken one, like, because those are all gonna be so niche. Yeah. But if you have those characters reliced up, I don't care if you kill my GL. Like, you have a relic Jawa squad, go for it. Like, if you have like 10 times thermals, sure, go for it. Whatever their mechanic's gonna be. But the stats are finally starting to calm down, which is what I like.
Oh, dude, this Night Sister. This is all right. This Night Sister team is absolutely taking me to town, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people so many people who play this game don't, like, are either new to it or, like, they spend very limited amounts of money and time. So, like, their investment is important to them. And just the idea of a Jawa team beating the only good team, like, let's say they rush SLKR or C or whatever. Like, that's their one good team in their entire account. And it gets beat by Jawas, I think people are just going to be mad. But who cares? They're not. That leads
I
us
mean,
to our next.
how many times are you gonna run into R7 Jawas though?
I don't know. This is what I'm saying. I don't mean specifically Jawas, but like I faced opponents with like 8+ million GP and beat them because I happened to have JMK and JML, and they were the first two Datacron sets.
Yeah.
So their many GLs couldn't beat my JMK, and I could spread my JML team out with like 3 different level 9 Datacrons to 3 different teams to beat their GLs. And like I don't think they were very happy that a 5 million GP player was beating them when they had invested probably thousands and thousands of more dollars, if not years of time, more than I had. And I think people, especially at lower accounts, are just they're afraid that shit like that's gonna happen. And I mean, I think the entire game is about stealing money from other people and making people who spend more money than you cry. But that leads us to our next topic.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm looking at my GAC. I just realized my opponent placed the anti-Wampa
C team.
The anti-Wampa Iden team on defense with TIE Fighter Pilot against me.
TIE Fighter Pilot.
Yeah, so TIE Fighter Pilot does like tenacity down, and then you stun the Wampa and you win.
Yeah, but TIE Fighter Pilot's not an Imperial Trooper.
Right, so it kind of breaks some of the mechanics, but
okay, so you don't get the Omicron, but you still get the like crazy amounts of damage, right?
Yeah. So there's one problem with this. I don't have the Wampa on me.
Yeah, you're like one of the people who just like really. You have a very controversial opinions on a lot of things, Van Steele. That's why I like you so much.
Some guy was in like another stream talking about me, and he like said it the best. He said I was like,
Hey, you got to the point where people talk shit about you behind your back. Welcome to the club.
I love it. No, he was like what did he say? He said I swear Van Steele is basically. What did he say? Something like he said like, oh, Van Steele says, oh, I see the good characters, but give me the shit ones. I want to see if they work.
Nice.
I'm like, that's pretty much me. Yeah.
I mean, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to have fun. It's not me, but someone's got to have fun.
And then you got people in your stream calling me the Alex Jones of SWGOH.
That was pretty funny. I got a lot of shit for that video because the video was like you were like, oh, you know, I don't really like the Omicrons, like the tertiary Omicrons that much from Malgisi. And then everyone's like, APGAINS is just a fucking inbred imbecile.
Wait, why are they getting mad at you?
Because they didn't watch the video.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they were super upset. Like I got a huge amount of backlash from that video, and I read through the comments, and it was quite apparent that they hadn't watched the video.
I love that when I post a video on YouTube, right, and like it's a 10-minute video, and within 45 seconds after I post it, someone comments to me like, Your bounty hunters are so fast and you can't do it, and you're dumb. And I'm like, dude, there's no way. There's no way.
You're still in the intro. You're still in the intro where I'm talking about my dog and I got a new cat and all this shit.
Hell, you haven't even watched this shit yet.
Yeah, I enjoy that very much. I don't actually reply to a lot of comments these days, but mostly because I just spend because there's so many comments these days that like I can't reply to all of them, but it is fun reading the ones that are just.
My favorite one, and I didn't reply because I was like, well, actually, no, I did reply. I did try to be professional, but like,
I don't even try to be professional anymore.
I had one person. I posted that Malgus video about my bounty hunters beating Malgus.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Thanks for this video. I tried this in my GAC and I lost. It cost me my GAC. Like, thanks for everything, or like thanks for nothing, kind of a thing."
Were you just like, "You're welcome"?
Well, no, I replied with like I said, I was professional about it. I said, I'm sorry, like, I'm sorry you lost. And I asked him like, what comp and what datacron were you using? That way we can try to figure this out. And then a couple other people like had my back, and they're like, well, of course it's not going to work your first try. It's just the idea, and blah blah blah. And they're like getting all into it, explaining how like I've been planning for 3 months for this fight, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of done my homework. I don't know. But no, those are my favorite ones. Is when I post a video about a counter and then people just say like, it doesn't work. I lost. Thanks. And they're just all mad because they lost their GAC because it's like, well, you're the one that wanted to try it, so.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing about counters. Like, I did a video with Calvin, and the premise of the video was basically like, what are things about the early and mid game experience for like the 95% of people who aren't at the very end game that like top end players get wrong consistently. not wrong in that they like have no idea what they're talking about, but wrong in the sense that they just like kind of, let them eat cake kind of thing. Like they can't relate anymore, right? And I was like, one of the things I said was, fuck, I should just use my geos. So there's gonna be someone in like deep recesses of the comment section saying, "Oh my god, APGAINS, what ready geos?" Question mark. My geos might be the team to beat the Night Sisters, which is hilarious because this is my 6th battle. That being said, I was like, counters don't really exist in the early, especially in the early game, but kind of in the mid game. Like there are some exceptions, obviously, but like your two teams are never going to be the same fighting another person's version of that team ever in your entire life, and you kind of just have to just fucking wing it. You just got to do whatever is, do whatever the fuck it takes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you're never gonna be able to be like, oh well, this person put the Wampa no Wampaing. I didn't counter. Like that's never gonna happen ever, right? Like you're gonna have to go in there anyway with your Wampa. Just be like, well, I hope this fucking works, and you're probably gonna have a mixed bag, kind of like this person did. Like this person assumed that this top end counter would work for them when they're probably realistically in a situation where they may or may not have needed to do a little bit more research because it wouldn't work. That was a very terrible explanation of the point I was trying to make. Basically, just counters are kind of few and far between in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's always the exception. I think there are like some
There are
counters
some,
that
like
just
Darth Revan
there's
versus
some
Jedi
counters
Revan,
no matter what you do.
works. Yeah, you can't fuck
like
up.
Datacrons mods don't affect it because it's just the mechanics. Like it's like a hard ass counter.
Yeah.
But there are not a whole lot of those anymore in this game.
Yeah, I think Darth Revan versus Jedi Revan is like the poster boy, in my opinion, of
get fucked.
Of like like mechanical counters, Traya versus Geonosians, shit like that. You know what I mean? See, here's the thing. This DACA is about to revive. I know you can't see my GAC. The DACA is about to revive, but I don't have another team outside the Geos, so this is win or go home for me.
Okay.
Like, if I don't snipe this DACA, which it doesn't look like I'm about to, oh my god, this could be holy shit. I take back everything I've ever said about the Geonosians. They're the greatest team on God's green earth. No longer an STD team. They're now officially... I'm putting them in A tier. I'm putting them in S tier. They're now above Galactic Legends. Little APGAINS lore. The team that I hate fighting... I think the worst team that I'm like fight against is Night Sisters. I have never, ever, ever once felt comfortable fighting Night Sisters in my entire life. Because I always use teams that are probably too weak, and I'm afraid to use teams that are too strong. They fester too hard. I know you love festering. They fester way too hard, and they make me sad.
Yeah, it's not my favorite word, but
it caught on a little bit. I mean, I hate to break it to you.
A little bit.
I mean,
a little bit.
They ran me for 6 battles. All right, last topic of the PP pod. I wrote it down in the show notes. It just says, why you're too poor. Can you explain to people that they will never have everything?
Everyone, me being poor?
No, not you. I'm just saying, like, the general, the proverbial you. Why people who are new to this game will never have everything, even if they spend money.
So, I think there's two ways to go about this. One, you don't want to have everything because then then this game would be boring. Okay, yeah. There always needs to be a chase. There always needs to be something to go after. There always needs to be goals. I know some people that were like begging for another GL that still didn't have them all. They're begging for another GL because they just wanted to see another drive, another like another 5K marathon, or not 5K's on marathon. Another marathon to like to chase after, with the community, because there was no GL for like almost a whole year. So one, yeah, you don't want everything. Not having everything is actually a good thing. Two, the second way to look about it is make this game your own. So what I mean by that, I think I'm probably one of the better people to say this, is, find something about this game you really, really like, and just go gung-ho for it, okay? If you like bounty hunters, go crazy, okay? Mm-hmm. If you like Jedi, go crazy, and I think when you have that, like, special, unique niche about your roster in this game, it becomes a lot more fun. it becomes a lot more fun because you have access to some things that, most people don't.
Mm-hmm.
And, it might work, it may not, but, I would say it definitely becomes a lot more fun. So, like right now, for example, I'm trying to do all R9 Inquisitors. Don't ask why. Um, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I'm like, I don't care about the profundity right now. I don't care about if Jabba gets R9s. I mean,
You
like, I
don't
do,
like titties,
obviously.
bro? Come on.
Dude, I love titties.
I was gonna
But
say.
I'm doing R9 Inquisitors because I'm like, it's just fun, it's goofy,
Yeah.
and it's kind of it's a big meme at this point. Um, and I'm
Yeah.
not spending money on it. I'm just doing it through whatever
Just
whatever
doing it to do
gear
it.
and just doing it to do it. Yeah. So, like I said, point one, there's you don't want everything. You always have to chase stuff. Point two, um, if you've given up on chasing everything, then just focus on what you like in the game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say those are wise words. I think there are definitely people like me who the thing that they like the most, or the thing that makes them the happiest, is winning, catching fat dubs. Um,
Well, yeah,
I
if you can do both, then
yeah.
then yeah, that'd be great. But not everyone,
Not everyone
not everyone's,
likes to chase
not
fat
everyone's
dubs.
gonna go. And that's the thing. Like even at the top end, like I see like some of these other content creators dropping vaults after vaults on data disks, and they still lose. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's really hard to justify those 900 crystals you win from GAC.
Yeah.
When you're spending vaults.
That's what
So
I always thought. I was always confused by people who spend money. Is like, why do you care about GAC? Like, they're always like, oh, I need those crystals. Like, I gotta climb to get those crystals. I'm like, the crystals are not the reason that you're trying to win GAC. Like, you can just
no,
buy
no,
crystals.
it's it's
Crystals
it's
mean
it's
nothing to you.
ever since GAC started, it's all been bragging rights. It's
Yeah.
always that's the only thing it's ever been. It's bragging rights, and I feel like if we didn't have all this people that streamed on Twitch, for GAC probably would have been dead a long time ago.
Oh yeah. I mean the game. I've said this a million times. People who watch the channel, they're gonna be tired of hearing the book club analogy, but it's still true. Like, this game exists not because it's a great game, because the game is kind of ass. It
Yeah.
only exists because of the community, because people want to be
Mhm.
here. That
Yep.
is the only reason that this game exists, is because someone somewhere is enjoying playing it.
And like if you're so concerned about winning too, look, if you're going 2-1 on average, you're fine. If you go 1-2 every once in a while, that's okay. But if you're going 0-3 like every week in a row, um,
Yeah, I don't even think
you
that's
might
possible.
you might be doing something wrong because you're going to be running into people who don't even attack
Yeah. I think it's
and just set
impossible
a bunch
to
of
go
cheese.
unwin. I think it's literally impossible if you play to ever have that happen, ever.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I've told this AP kids, I really don't care about GAC anymore. GAC is TW practice in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
until they,
Loki put his money where his mouth is too.
dude, I haven't seen that guy in like a month, and I still don't think he's signed up since
Yeah, he
since the
hasn't
game.
dropped though, because like he hasn't dropped.
His rating is
He's
so freaking high, it's hilarious.
yeah.
But
Ah,
no,
right.
until they put something behind GAC, which I still stand by my word, and I think they're gonna put R10 behind GAC,
Mm-hmm.
or the way to get R10,
Yeah.
the currency, whatever is gonna be behind GC. Then what's the point? Because if you lose, it's just crystals.
Yeah.
It's literally just crystals, and I mean, people might feel differently when 3v3 comes back around. They would be like, oh, I'm not gonna sign up because I'm debating on signing up for threes. Like threes was so ass last time. I was just like this is not fun.
Hmm. Well, put your money where your mouth is. Don't sign up.
I might not. I might just take a vacation.
Oh, I like vacations. I haven't been on one in
Yak
fucking.
vacation.
Oh, okay. Well. All right, Van Seal. That's an hour and 4 minutes. Felt like a breeze. Hope you agreed. Hope you had a fun time. Hope
Yeah,
you still love
it's a
me.
good one.
Thank you for joining us.
Covered a lot of good topics.
Yeah. We had a couple of hot takes in there that might be hard to justify, but no one will watch this video anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Nah.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Bye.